Hey everyone, I am so sorry to have kept you waiting for so long for another podcast episode, but I promise you it will be worth it. The reason it has taken me a while to get on the podcast again is because I was so immersed in the launch of my new product, my new offer, the live program, Your Body is Magic, where we're going to be diving deep into the energetics of the body. And why this is so exciting for me is because I've always been very much involved in the physical side of things. So I've always been focused on the training, the nutrition. My membership is all about getting the right workout program for your specific body and the right nutrition for your specific body. But over the past year and a half, I have been diving deep into the energetics of the body because I always knew that there was a link. Talk to any of my clients. This is something that I would always do. I myself studied psychology. I was always very much involved in the psychological, energetic fact of you achieving your body dreams, and that it's not all just the physical side of things. It's not all about taking action. It's also about listening to your body and truly tapping into what your body has to say. And that is what we're going to be talking about on today's podcast, because you might not know it, but your body is the literal roadmap to anything you desire in life. And I have touched upon this topic a little bit here and there inside the podcast and in some of my videos if you follow me on Instagram, and definitely in my stories if you follow me on Instagram. But your body is always constantly communicating with you. And so I decided to create an entire program that revolves around the energetics of the body and decoding the body and decoding every single reflection your body has. And what I mean by reflection, your body is giving you physical symptoms, physical ailments, signs basically of an imbalance. Anything happening within your body is a communication to you. It's your body trying to tell you that something is out of balance and you need to address this. And once you start understanding that this is how the body works exactly, and you understand what each message is, and you understand what it's trying to tell you and how to correct the imbalance, you literally become the creator of your own dream body, but also the creator of your own dream life. And that's what we're going to be diving into in today's podcast, because as the years have gone by, we have become so mentally, physically detached from our body, energetically detached from our body, that we don't even know what our body is saying to us anymore. We often hear people say, you gotta just listen to your body. You just gotta listen to your body. You need to make sure that, you're doing what's right for your body and listen to it and feel what it needs. But how do we know how to listen to our body when we've become so freaking disconnected from our body itself? We don't even know what it's saying to us anymore. We have an inkling, but we don't know what it's saying to us anymore. And that is what we are going to be diving into inside this program. And in this podcast, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what it's all about and give you some tools and some ideas on how this works and why it's so incredibly important to listen to your body and to fully understand what your body is trying to tell you. Because I'm sure you've all been in that space where you're doing everything. You're training, you're working on your nutrition, and you feel like you're getting your steps in. You're focusing on your protein and you feel like you're doing it all right. But for some reason, your body is not working with you. Well, this is the missing ingredient. The missing ingredient in you doing everything right, like if you're actually doing everything right and you're still not seeing the results, or you're just like frustrated with the last bit of fat, or you're struggling to put on muscle in your glutes and it seems like it's so much more effort than it should be, then this is what's happening. Your body is your guide. So your body is always trying to communicate with you, and it's always trying to tell you when something is out of balance. That is your body's job. Your body is never working against you. So when you start understanding that and realizing that your body is trying to help you and it's trying to give you a message and you're just not receiving it, that's when you have full power over the results that you desire. So you got to think of it like this. If you're driving a car and the car is signaling like a light at you and you ignore it, and so it goes from yellow to orange, from orange to red, and you keep ignoring it, what happens? The problem becomes worse and the car eventually breaks down. So that's basically what's happening with your body. If you are ignoring the signals your body is giving to you, then the problem won't go away. It will get worse, or it will cause other problems. Most likely will cause other problems and could end in your body breaking down. And so we have become so detached from our bodies that we don't even realize when our body is giving us a signal anymore. We brush it off as normal, when anything out of the ordinary is not normal. Any pain, any ache, a little cut on your finger, stubbing your toe, all of these things are not like how your body is meant to be. Your body is meant to be healthy, fit, without pain, without any twitches, without any of that. So when you can start to see that every single thing, down to the little cut, the cut on your pinky finger that you get, the paper cut, is your body communicating with you, that's when you start truly having full power over the creation of not only your dream body, but your dream life. And so I'm going to break down how this works. For some reason, when it comes to, let's say, gray hairs on the head, we can attribute that to stress, right? The more stress you have, the more gray hairs. Like, people turn grayer the more they stress. For some reason, we can understand that. Even my mom, when I would get a rash or get a rash now, my mom will ask me, what's going on with you? Like, are you stressed or something that your body is acting out? So for some reason, and even with bloating, right, we can attribute that to stress or a stress headache. We've heard of these things, but it stops there. It kind of stops there, and we just let it be what it is. We don't dive in and dissect what that means and how we can shift that, because your body is creating it, so we can also make it undone. And we can make it undone plus up-level our lives and up-level our bodies, because we have that power. If we have the power to create a headache, we also have the power to get rid of that headache without any extra supplements from outside. If we have the power to put on fat or bloat the body from stress, then we also have the power to decrease bloating and to lose weight without doing necessarily any extra physical action. But you got to understand what the signal means, and you got to address the signal. And when you address the signal, that's when you can start creating and molding and fully working on your body. And you'll understand how that not only up-levels your body, but also up-levels your life when we start dissecting this more and more. So even, and I said this in the first week of so you're getting a little snippet of what we discussed, but in the first week of Your Body is Magic, the course, I spoke about this. When you are a child, and I know I've had this experience myself, and you get school sick, and you genuinely feel sick because you don't want to go to school. You genuinely feel nauseous because you don't want to be there, right? That is, again, your body rejecting something. Your body is rejecting the idea of being at school. So you get physical symptoms of feeling sick and nauseous. So how hard is it to believe that your body is constantly communicating with you, and it's just reacting to the thoughts that you have? It's just reacting to the beliefs that you have, and it's just signaling that there is an emotional imbalance somewhere. for some reason, we draw the line at maybe school sickness and gray hairs. But why couldn't it be that your body is holding on to stubborn fat because there is an emotional imbalance? And it's not because of that emotional imbalance that you are eating, doing like taking part in emotional eating, and that's what's causing you to gain weight. No, your body is holding on to fat due to that emotional imbalance. And fat in the body, the function of fat in the body is protecting the body. Because if you're on a deserted island and you have 9% body fat, do you think you'll survive long? Or if you're on a deserted island and you have 30% body fat, you're going to survive longer, right? So the function of fat on the body is protection. So when you start thinking about it like that, your body is responding to beliefs and ideas that you have. And if they are at all abusive or beating yourself up on something, then what is your body going to do? It's going to protect itself. And not only that, it's not going to stop protecting itself from your abuse until you decode what the abuse is and you fix the abusing. You stop the abusing. You switch your thought process. Because aren't we all so freaking good at abusing ourselves? Right? It's so easy to put ourselves down. Why is it so hard to bring ourselves up instead of put ourselves down? And I experienced this firsthand because most of you who have listened to me before know that I competed in a bodybuilding competition where I, in fact, was 9% body fat. I achieved a very lean physique, more than very lean. I had no body fat on my body. I had muscle and no fat, and I worked extremely hard to get there. So it worked, right? I achieved that result after working extremely hard to get that result. But for some reason, the second time round, I decided to compete. I was doing everything as I did before. I was in a calorie deficit. I was doing cardio twice a day, 45 minutes, and strength training on top of that. And I was putting my body under so much stress and so much pressure. And for some reason, even though I was doing more and dieting more and doing all the things that you should be doing to lose body fat and gain muscle and get that lean physique, my body was literally going like, yeah, right, we're not doing this. We are not doing this. And you know why my body was doing that? So my body was struggling to lose fat and to lose weight. And I could not figure out why I was working so hard and my body was not leaning down like it did before. It felt like I was doing more, but it wasn't leaning out. And that's because my body was like, listen, woman, you achieved this result before, but you didn't learn the lesson of your emotional imbalance. And because you haven't figured out what the lesson is and what your emotional imbalance is with your body, we are going to hold on to this fat until you do. Not only that, we're going to hold on to this fat until you stop abusing us, my body. So here I was getting frustrated with my body for not working with me. And so I started beating it down more and more and more and more. And what do you know? My body was like, we're not going to work with you because you're just whipping us into shape. You're forcing us into a shape that we don't want to be in. And you're not getting the message. You're not understanding your value apart from achieving this body. You are focusing so much on the masculine energy, which is putting in the work, grinding harder, working out harder, dieting harder, malnourishing my body, overtraining my body. And you're not listening to what your body truly needs. And your body needs some love, some compassion, and you need to start working on the reason you want that body in the first place. Right? Because why do I want to be so ripped? Why do I want to be so ripped? Is it the best for my body? Not necessarily. It's a very extreme diet and workout program that I need to follow. My body's not happy. So why is it? Is it for myself fully? Or is there another reason? And that is validation. So that I can start feeling good about myself because I look a certain way. So my body decided not to work with me. Even more so, I did the competition, didn't look half as lean as I did as in my first competition. And after that, I decided to work my body harder until I was exhausted and there was no other option for me to take a break. So I took a break, and guess what happened when I took that break? My body started losing weight because I started giving it some love and respect. So, and this went on for a while, like till I fully released that abuse towards my body. And once I did, and I started working more with my body started losing weight. My face started slimming down. My bloating started going away because I started understanding what my body was trying to say to me. And none of us seem to see that or realize that. And we keep forcing our bodies, and we're in this masculine energy where we're constantly thinking like, okay, if we just do more, if we just diet more, if we just train harder, our body's going to work with us. And sure, I got that result the first time round, but why couldn't I stick to that result? Why couldn't I keep that body? Because I hadn't worked on the internal issue. I hadn't worked on the reason why I wanted that body in the first place. So my body was like, okay, we need to guide you back in the right direction because you're not going to heal this issue if we don't show you where the imbalance is. And so this is just an example of body fat. And there are so many other examples. For example, I had a breakout, I think the end of the year. My face was breaking out like crazy. Like I normally have pretty clear skin, but I had a giant breakout on this side of my face, and like it wouldn't go away for 2 to 3 months, and it seemed like it was getting worse. And I honestly, to be honest, I was too lazy to look in and do because I tap in intuitively into my body to see what's going on and why there is an imbalance. And this is also what I do for my members and my clients. So I didn't take the time to do that. But the moment I did that and I tapped in intuitively to read what was going on in my body and why my skin was breaking out, and it always has something to do with seeing your value or, loving yourself more, or giving yourself more space. The moment I did a read on that, and it had something to do with being ashamed or not fully being in my power when I say certain things. And that could be different for everybody, but the underlying, we'll get into that later. Anyways, the moment I realized what it was and the action I needed to take to shift it, within 2 or 3 days after doing that, my skin cleared. Because all my body wanted to do was let me know that something was off and that I needed to address it. So that's what my body did. It was like, hello, something is off. You need to address this. And when you address it, we won't have to signal you anymore. And the beauty of this is, I'm talking about how I intuitively tap in to do a read on this. You don't need to you already have intuition. So if you already start understanding what each body part means and what exactly that part of the body is telling you, you can already start deciphering what's going on with you. And well, in my course, we'll dive deeper and you'll have me to help read what's going on and help you give you actions. But if you know already how to do this, then you can start shifting these things physically by working on the energetics. And why I say that doesn't only up level your body, but also your life, is because all of these imbalances get fixed. So the only reason your body is signaling something to you through stomach pain, holding on to fat, bloating, skin breakouts, things like this, the only reason your body is doing that is because there is an emotional imbalance that you need to work through. So what happens when you work through the emotional imbalance? So the imbalance, for example, is that you're beating yourself up over something, right? And you're not being very nice to yourself, and you're beating yourself up, you're being abusive towards yourself, you're not respecting yourself, you're not seeing your value in something, or you're attributing your value to one thing, and if that thing doesn't exist, then that means you're not valuable. What happens, do you think, when you shift that belief, when with the right tools and techniques, you can go in and you shift that belief? Not only does the body stop signaling by holding on to fat, for example, but your frequency starts increasing, your radiance starts increasing, your vibrancy starts increasing. Why? Because you started recognizing an imbalance emotionally that you have within yourself. So you're healing on a deeper level. And when you heal on a deeper level, you start seeing your value beyond that physical thing, right? So you start recognizing what the imbalance is. You shift the imbalance. So you heal. So you become a better, more high frequency version of yourself, the version that you're meant to be. And therefore, you start shining that new radiance and that new frequency out to the world. And what do you think starts happening when you have yourself on a higher pedestal and you start valuing yourself more and you work on the emotional internal imbalances that you have? Other people will start valuing you more. You become more magnetic because you become more confident, because you've healed the internal issue causing the external effect. So not only does the external effect fade away, but you start attracting more opportunities, success, better relationships, more finances, financial abundance into your life, because you become more attractive to the external world because your frequency increases and you're not holding on to that baggage anymore that you were holding on to before. Does that make sense? So you become more vibrant, you start seeing your value, you start seeing your worth, and when you start seeing that, other people start seeing that too. That's how that works. We all know the person that pities themselves, right? Like victim mentality, victim role. Do you like being around that energy? Do you like being around someone who's down in the dumps and you barely, like, you can't get them out of it? I don't think anybody, like, yes, we're supportive, but I don't think anybody really likes being around that energy. Do you like being around uplifting, high vibe energy? Being motivated, being excited, like being empowered? Of course. So when you are that person that has that energy around them, then you are going to be so much more attractive to everybody else. And I'll tell you something funny, like after me doing all of this work and doing more of this work, and the more I go, like, I haven't reached the top yet, guys. I mean, of my potentials is what I mean. I'm still making my way up, but can you imagine when I'm at the top, when you're at the top, what is possible through the techniques and tools that I coach inside Your Body's Magic, and I coach my members as well, partially. I have tripled my revenue. Yeah, I've tripled my revenue. I have, I have improved my relationships. I've made new friends because I live in a different country than where I'm from, and I only live here for almost 2 years now, but I made new friends through that, attracted new friends into my life, attracted new opportunities into my life. My bloating has gone away completely. My face has slimmed down. Like, I used to have a little bit of like puffy cheeks face. I look back at pictures, I was way more swollen. And I was doing more, like workout wise, physically, I was doing more. I was also dieting more. I was more like counting calories, training hard, but me doing that less and working on the energetic side, and yes, still with the right program and activity that I do, but more tuned into what my body needs, my body looks better every single day. I have the power to clear my skin within a day or two. I have healed my eye. I got my dog. I woke up in the morning and my dog scratched me in my eye. And even that is a sign. It had something to do with me not seeing my value. Again, it always ties back in to how you see yourself, your self-image. But every single body symptom tells a different story. Every single body reflection, ailment tells a different story. Every part of the body is there to communicate. So if you have an ailment in a different part, it's communicating a different story about what you need to shift and what you need to work on. And that's why the body is such an effective teacher, because you can't ignore it. Like to a certain, like a little tightness in the shoulder, we can ignore. But when that tightness becomes a debilitating migraine, we can't ignore it anymore. When a headache turns into eye problems, for example, does that happen? I'm pretty sure that happens. Eye problems turn into a headache. Yeah, I think the other way around. When that happens, you can't ignore it anymore. And the thing is, your body will signal you way earlier than that migraine, but you've just ignored it long enough that the migraine pops up, right? Same with the body fat. It's been probably signaling you before you put on that extra fat and you couldn't get rid of it. But you've just been ignoring it and not listening to what your body has to say up until the point you can't ignore it anymore. Because that's what your body wants. It wants you to listen. And what better way for you to listen than for it to stop you in your tracks? If you can't bear looking at whatever's going on, or if you can't bear the pain anymore, you have to do something about it. You have to shift something. And even then, funnily enough, we don't listen and it turns into more severe illnesses and problems. So why don't we stop that from happening? And why don't we work preventatively and we start actually deciphering what our body is trying to communicate to us? Because it's a win-win situation. You get rid of the problem, you solve the body ailment, you solve the body reflection, and you solve that so you don't only feel better, you look better, but also your energy becomes more attractive and you start believing in yourself more because you're listening to where the imbalance is and you start fixing that imbalance. So you fix the imbalance, you become more powerful, and you start shifting things physically and energetically. And when you start doing that, you start realizing you're the creator of your own freaking life. So you've just shifted your body and your energetic state, and therefore you can create. It's a game. It's literally a game, guys. And when you can start understanding that your body is the roadmap, the blueprint to how you need to play the freaking game, and you can unlock new levels through fixing your freaking body by listening to what your body is trying to say to you, that's when you have full control over your life. That's when you realize you are the creator of everything that you want in your life. So with my eye, for example, I shifted that because I was like, oh, fuck, this is my body trying to communicate to me again. There's something that is off that I'm not listening to. And my eye was blurry the entire day because he literally he scratched open my what's it called? My retinal. Am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right. No, I forget the name. My English is leaving me behind. I forget the name of my cornea. I think he scratched my cornea. And so it was damaged. And the next day, because I worked through all of this and I also did a bit of a healing on it, my eye was back to normal. Like I could not see through it the entire day after he had scratched it. and I'd healed it within a day. I'd healed it within a day. So you have that power. And we have become so detached from our bodies and so convinced that the only way to get what we desire when it comes to our body is by doing more, by fully being in that masculine energy where you're starving yourself and working out harder, and you're doing everything exactly towards the book, and you're not feeling anymore. You're not feeling what your body needs. You're bypassing what your body needs. We've been convinced of that because we're so desperate to look a certain way. Why are we so desperate to look a certain way? Because we can't see our value beyond what our body looks like. So of course, if you don't heal that part, your body's not going to work with you because you're not loving it for what it's doing for you right now. And I mean, your body's a freaking miracle on its own. You better give it some love for that. And you should start asking yourself why you feel the need to change your body so desperately when you haven't healed the reason why you want to change your body so desperately. And when you can do that, your body will not only work with you better, but you will be so much happier with the results because you haven't done it out of a lack mentality. You've done it out of a fulfilled place, and your body will work with you because you're not beating it down. You're not forcing it into a shape that it doesn't want to be. You're actually listening to what it has to say. You're actually valuing what it's trying to communicate to you, and you're implementing the changes. And when you start implementing these changes, your body will shift so much faster. And I'm not going to say that it's just standing in the mirror and telling yourself how amazing and how beautiful you are. I mean, sure, that will help. But yeah, there are more like direct techniques and tools that you can use to actually shift your specific physical reflections, because we all have a different story. We all have, I mean, a lot of them overlap, like the story that we tell ourselves, but you might need a specific communication or tool to tackle your specific situation. And I might need something different because I have a different memory that it's linked to. I have a different experience that it's linked to. And it might be tackling me somewhere in financial insecurity, whereas for you, it could be tackling you in your family life. So there's an imbalance in a different area of life. So you got to get specific on all the details to make sure that you're tackling the right issue and you're actually shifting and reprogramming the thought processes behind that physical reflection, that physical ailment properly, so that you can shift your body properly. And that is what we do inside my new offer. Unfortunately, we already started the program, so just keep an eye out or send me an email at info@nukesfitness.com if you are desperate to join this program. I will see what we can do for you, what I can mean for you. If not, always will be possible to look into a one-on-one where we tap in specifically into your body reflections. But the beauty of this is, and what I want to do with the course and the work that I'm doing, is show you how to start deciphering and reading your own body and fully understanding what each ailment means and how to shift that. Because I know my mom, for example, she had, and I was always very interested in this, she had this giant book with like all physical ailments and issues and problems, like any illnesses, any disease, like all of it is in that book, and each has a description of what's going on with that person or what it means about that person. And this is a great start, but first of all, it's not telling you what to do and how to shift that. So it's great to understand that and cool to see the alignment. But Again, also, that's a very general book. What's going on with you could be slightly different to what's going on with someone else. And the more you start understanding this, the more you can start shifting it even more specifically and understanding your own body, the better the result will be. And the more you can start understanding about other people around you as well. There are so many superpowers to this. And I promise you, when you start understanding the energetics of the body and reading what's going on with your body and listening to it, your body will work with you so much better. And you will also start getting a better understanding of why other things in your life aren't shifting or what you're struggling with. And when you start shifting those things, your life starts changing. By doing these things, I've increased my financial abundance. I've gotten more clients into my membership. And into my programs. Me and my boyfriend do not argue anymore because I shifted these things. I started seeing and understanding where my own imbalances were, and I started working through them. I started reprogramming the thoughts and the beliefs that I had about myself. I started shifting them, and after that, the magic just started unfolding. And I literally cannot wait to see how much more magic is going to unfold. And if you want to watch the magic unfold with me, then keep listening to these podcasts. Join my programs, because there is so much more magic that we haven't even tapped into yet. And I literally cannot wait to start tapping into this magic with you guys, because I've always believed that we are able to do everything and anything that we set our minds to. And when you have the right tools to do it, and you can follow a literal handbook on how to do it, that's when you get the best results and you can never fail anymore. And that's what we're going to be doing with the power of listening to your body, intuitively feeling in what your body needs, and then having the correct action steps to take and truly understand what works best for your specific body by scanning your body's energetic blueprint and understanding what will work best for your body and nobody else's, because that's nowadays is all cookie cutter programs. Everybody's doing the same thing, but your body is not the same as Jane's body or my body. So you need a different approach. You need a different understanding. And this will unlock literal magic. Your body is your guide. It is never working against you. It is only working for you. And when you start seeing that, and when you start understanding what each body part is trying to tell you, each ailment is trying to tell you, the paper cut on your pinky is trying to tell you, when you stub your toe, what that's trying to tell you, when you start bloating, when you get that headache, when you start understanding that, you can start healing your body, shifting your physical appearance, and shifting your life. So, need I say more? Anyways, beautiful people, thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope to see you back here next week, because we're going to try and make it a weekly thing again. I'm sorry, I've been bad. And I am so appreciative of you all. And I hope to see you in the next episode. And start listening to your body. Start taking notes on what's happening every time you feel something different in your body. What happened just before then that caused that feeling? Anyways, if you're interested in any of the programs or you want to know more, just email me at info@nukesfitness.com, or start with any of my freebies and I'll see you in one of the programs, or the membership. Start with the membership and I'll see you there. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and you feel like you got a lot of value out of it, it would mean the world to me if you would rate and review the podcast and share it with someone who you feel like would get a lot of value out of it. In the meantime,